MOOC stands for Massive Open Online Course. It is massive because it allows access to a very large number of students, much larger than a face-to-face class or a traditional online course. So in MOOC, you can have thousands of students doing your course and you can still measure their learning. The first O stands for open. The course should be open to everyone around the world for free and does not require any prerequisites such as a particular qualification or a certain level of performance in earlier studies. The second O stands for online, as the course is done remotely via the internet. Anyone from anywhere in the world with an internet connection can participate in the course. C, of course, stands for course. So a MOOC is a model of educational delivery that is massive, open, online, and of course, it is a course. MOOC is becoming popular due to the flexibility in adapting new technology in the development and delivery of the courses. This flexibility offers participants of MOOC learning experience that keeps on evolving with advancements of computer technology. Second, the increasing cost of higher education is another factor that makes MOOC popular. People start to look for less expensive alternatives to learn new skills and acquire new knowledge. With MOOC, flexibility of learning is in the hand of the participants. Participants can set their own pace of learning, determine what to learn and how much they want to learn. Learning via MOOC can be enriching because participants learn not only from the courses but also from the postings, comments and ideas of other participants who registered in the courses. There are many providers of MOOCs, for example, Udacity, Coursera, edX and many more. And due to the popularity of MOOC, I believe courses on TVET should be developed using the MOOC platforms. As mentioned earlier, there are so many companies or providers of MOOC. Each one has its pros and cons, but we are lucky because the Ministry of Education Malaysia has chosen Open Learning to be the MOOC provider for Malaysian universities and polytechnics. The founders of Open Learning have created what they call as a combination of Facebook and Wikipedia for learning. Therefore, you will find features of Facebook such as like and comments being offered by the platform. The platform also includes a wiki feature where students and course facilitators can collaborate to come up with detailed study notes. The platform is designed to make learning as fun and enjoyable as possible. And based on my experience as a course developer using this platform, these features are brilliant. They make students feel it's more of an adventure or a social networking thing rather than an educational course. Therefore, students participating in these courses have meaningful, engaging, constructive, and ultimately transformative learning experiences. This will help create a student-centered learning environment. Well, honestly, I can't tell you which provider is the best, but I personally think Open Learning has all the tools that I need to create a student-centered TVET course. It is actually a teaching approach. In contrast from the teacher-centered approach where teachers are in control, student-centered learning focused on the students and the learning that takes place. I like how Professor Mushtaq from Taylor's University put it in a simple explanation in one of the interviews. He used the analogy of how we learned to walk when we were little to explain the educational process in student-centered environment. He said when we learned how to walk, we had people around us who continuously giving us encouragement and feedback. That is student-centered learning. So this is the setting that we should have in order to create a student-centered learning experience for our students in our MOOC courses. Students should feel encouraged and motivated as they take control of their own learning. In my experience facilitating a course for TVET in MOOC, I feel that the students can learn much more in this kind of setting. First of all, you need a proper plan. When I say plan, I mean it starts from the very beginning, the brainstorming part. This is easier if you work in a group. Even if you don't work as a group, ask some friends to help you in the process of creating the outline of the course. Decide on the intended learning outcomes and put them down on a piece of paper or on the board. I did it on mahjong paper. Sounds traditional, but it helps. This will allow you to jot down any ideas that come across your mind and also allows you to put them down where they should be. Decide whether the activities require them to form groups, do a role play, work on a case study, solve a problem, collect real data, or even complete a mind map. You also will need to decide on how the students are going to be assessed. I would ask for some advice from people who have been involved with MOOC or ask for opinions from the experts. I also did what I call as course walking or course visiting. This means I join courses in MOOC and look at how others design their activities. By doing this, you will get a lot of ideas. The effort to create engaging activities is really important because you don't want students to leave halfway through the course. In order to design a good student-centered activity, we have to go back to the intended learning outcomes. As much as we want to make it fun and engaging, we have to make sure that the learning does take place. So when I design an activity, I always ask myself, which way can I do it that it will work for the students? Giving students the power and encouragement to take ownership over their learning will promote intrinsic motivation, which in turn leads to deeper learning and understanding of a topic. Furthermore, it gives students the opportunity and encouragement to connect to other students and teachers as peers in an encouraging and comfortable environment to share their voice and express their ideas. Linking this to TVET, it can help us get away from the perception that reception of factual knowledge is the core to learning. It's time to let our students be more actively engaged with the environment as compared to students who learn concepts in order to pass the exam. Activities are the backbone of a MOOC. You need to create activities which can encourage students to be actively involved in their own process of learning. According to Professor Muhammad Amin MB, who won an award from the Open Education Consortium for his course in MOOC, learning is what the learners do, not what we do to them. Nowadays, students spend most of their time online. Facebook, WeChat, Twitter, Tumblr, Instagram, those are the things that they like to do. They share their location, pictures of food that they eat, what they think, how they feel, how they look through selfie, Wi-Fi. They are so used to sharing, bringing the physical world into the artificial world. So that's what we need to create through the activities. Let them hang out and socialize and at the same time learn through the platform. So back to the question, why are activities so important? Because the activities will determine whether the students will be able to interact, collaborate, share, and most importantly, develop a sense of belonging to the learning environment that we are trying to create. Well, assessment is an essential part of pedagogy. We need to assess our students in order to understand where they are in their learning process so that we can best figure how to meet their needs as learners. But the question is, do we need to continue grading in the traditional sense, sorting students into categories for audiences beyond the classroom? All this while, we have been grading students as if we are grading beef. You know, the top side, the ribs. I believe it is time we change the way we assess our students. So yes, MOOC allows us to invent new, creative, challenging forms of assessment that address not only individuals but also groups. Assessments which also evaluate the learning process that was taking place. For example, we can do this through problem-based learning activity, which is very pertinent to the world of TVET. One more thing, in MOOC, we can ask the students to share their creation, their work, their research outcomes with the world. It is no more trying to please the teacher. It goes beyond that because they are sharing it with the world. This is better as they will have the sense of accountability for their own work that goes beyond pleasing the teacher. And the best part is, teacher is no more the only judge to the assessments.
It's in a way going back to the origin of how we learn. So if we think of how we learned how to walk, how we learned how to talk. From the very beginning when we were children, people were all over us. We could imitate them. And at the same time, everyone was giving us encouragement and giving us feedback and getting us to start to stand first and then take our first steps. And all this was done in an environment that is full of love and encouragement and belief in us that we will be able to walk, we will be able to talk. So this is ultimately, I believe, is the student-centered learning.
There's a famous quotation by Confucius, I think. I hear, I forget. I see, I remember. I do, I understand. So I think if you want active learning to take place, we need to get everybody to participate in the lesson. The more they do, the more they learn. The more you engage students with activities, I think the more learning will take place. So remember, learning is what learners do and not what is done to them.
To me, a good course should hook the students. The experience should be like reading a good storybook. You would feel reluctant to put the book down. You want to know more and more and can't wait to know the ending. So our task is to hook the students. If we could make our students feel hooked to our course, that would be awesome. And if we could then keep on recreating this scenario in our future courses, we could make a good impact to the world of TVET. Thank you.